way out onto the track. Some are still back in the garage. And that's Matt Kenseth already strapped in to his car as he will be coming out as we get ready for round number 1. Take a look at the rules. Group qualifying. Round 1 will be the fastest. 24 will advance to round 2. That's a 20-minute round. Round number 2 is only 10 minutes long, and the fastest 12 will advance to the final round, or round 3, and that will set the top 12, including the pole winner. All of the speeds and times reset from round to round.
And Rick, what's very difficult is the size of this racetrack. You know, we saw a fast time in practice of 50.7 seconds. Well, it takes about another 55 seconds to take the green flag. So not only do you have to try to advance through the rounds, but if you do advance, or if you want to run a second time in a session, you have to work extremely hard to get the engine cool enough to run all that grill tape that you want to run.
Green flag is out for round number 1. Let me ask you both. We saw speed out of Paul Menard in practice. They were focused on qualifying trim. Where do you see Paul Menard kind of cycling out in this first round?
Well, I think they advance. I think they certainly advance into the second round. I don't know where. And the main thing, really, if you're top 24, it doesn't matter where. I mean, I think they showed enough speed that maybe they try to save a little bit of tire, not push 100% if they feel like they're fast enough to do that. Remember, at this racetrack, there's a lot of difference between first and 20th. I mean, there's a solid 6-7 tenths of a second, so you maybe cannot push turn 3 quite as hard as you need to advance and then try to save a little bit of tire. So that's risky. That's risky, but if you're confident to do it, then you could do it.
I asked Tony Gibson, crew chief for Kurt Busch, between the practice and this qualifying, I said, I noticed in our first practice that guys would go out and maybe their second and third laps were even faster than their first. Are you going to see that qualifying? He said, yes, absolutely. We think that our third run could be our fastest run.
And you see there's still some cars, you know, the 18 up on Jackson, 78, they're loading their driver in. So Martin Truex has cleared inspection. He'll have to drive his car up there, but the 18 hasn't cleared inspection. You see them underneath the car adjusting what looks to be perhaps maybe trunk arm slugs or something under the car, basically to try to get the rear skew for the laser platform probably is the issue. So as the time ticks down, we're under 19 minutes. So, you know, they have to make a lap. Right? The only way you got to be in the top 24 to make a lap. It needs some major adjustments for the 18. They have to put the car back together, go through inspection. A lot still to be checked on this 18 car to get out and even complete a lap.
He's won the last 2 poles in the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series at Indianapolis. Actually made history by winning the pole and the races for both of those races in the same week, and no one had ever done it before. Now he's in jeopardy of not maybe getting out for even a run in the first round.
Yeah, and as I look at those adjustments right there, definitely something in the rear housing, Jeff. Either skew, but that would be more into the center of the car, or camber. In the rear camber, you can adjust the rear camber on some of these cars, and perhaps that's what he was doing there.
Matty Benedetto was fastest until Danica Patrick went across the line, and now it's Chase Elliott that has moved up to the number 1 spot.
Yeah, I think the comment that you made, Rick, about being able to run faster on your second lap, that prohibits you from trying to save any tire. Because if you can run faster the second time out, you better get all you can the first time out, because if not, if you're down in 18th, 16th, 15th, you may have to go again. Well, now you have 2 heat cycles on your tires. So I think with that being said, I think you got to go and run as hard as you can this first session.
And I already see when I look from maybe Danica Patrick through Trevor Bayne, maybe Clint Moore through Trevor Bayne, that is the group of cars, if you look at practice speeds that were just outside looking in, they had to pick up speed, whether it was Matt Benedetto or Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Trevor Bayne, they needed speed. So instantly you see that they ran early, Jeff, and I think that is with the idea that they can cool that engine down and go out and run a second time if need be.
And Chase Elliott ran slower than what he ran in practice, so that indicates to me that we could indeed see speeds pick up as this practice goes on.
40 cars here for 40 spots, so no one will go home as we look at Paul Menard and showing speed once again.
Fastest of practice, Rick, and even if, you know, you don't have to be the fastest to be in the top 24, but you want to run, you want to back up that lap time, have your team feel good about what you did in practice. Earlier, he ran a 50.72 right there, a 50.97, so 2.5 tenths slower. I'm confident. I'll go out on a limb and say that 51 flat gets him through to the second round, really without concern.
Mike.
And Rick, just a quick update on the 18 car. As we talked to Kyle Busch before qualifying began, you heard that he was a little bit confident that he could go out there and run for the pole, but the team's still working on the car I spoke with the Vice President of Officiating and Technical Inspection. That would be Elton Sawyer. He told me the team is having problems with the camber of the right rear right now. They're working on that, trying to adjust it. Steve, as you know, that could be a bit of a timely situation where they've got a lot of work to do in order to get out there. Just 15 minutes remaining here in round one.
Yeah, there's really two ways to adjust rear camber. As you see on your screen, Jeff Gordon in the green wasn't that great in qualifying practice. Looks like they've found some adjustments so far. But basically, Rick, you can either actually take a torch, as odd as it sounds, and heat up and bend the rear end housing itself, or some teams have some adjustable sleeves underneath the rear hub. All you really have to understand is both of those adjustments are timely. So we'll have to see if the 18 car can find, with only 15 minutes left, can find a way as we go on board with Jeff Gordon. He's busy in there, Jeff, downshifting.
Yeah, he is downshifted. Now he's coming to the start-finish line to get the checkered flag. He lost a little bit of speed in turn 3 and off the tunnel turn. So still not a bad lap, though. That puts him in 7th. I'd say that's safe. I think he could probably sit there. We'll see. He beat Danica Patrick by about a 10th. Casey Mears by about 3/10, so I think that's relatively safe.
We basically ranked 24th in practice was a 51.60. We haven't seen a lot of cars pick up, so I imagine the bogey for the top 9 is around a 51.50 or 51.60. So what that tells me is that maybe Danica Patrick, Eric Amarola on up, they may be okay. Mears on down. They're going to be close. We'll have to see how qualifying plays out.
And Harvick did pick up from what he ran in practice. He picked up about a 1/10 of a second, and that's all just a little bit slower than the fastest time in practice. So the race